Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. I don't mean to disturb your eating, so continue. But we want to talk a little bit tonight. A lot of things been coming up in the last several months. One thing I want to make our psychological presence known on this issue. Like now, we see a lot of aggressive actions by the police departments, killing a lot of black people. In fact, if you were to watch the news, that's the only thing that's consistent about the news during this 2021. Is the killing of black people unjustly by what we would call a white police department. It's been going on for decades. In fact, most of the riots we had, even the Watts riot or LA, not riot, rebellion, is because of police brutality. In most of the cities in America, even during the 60s, those rebellions was because of overt police brutality against black people. We don't want to take too much time, but what we want to warn our community about is not being taken off the path or not allowing the system to control the agenda. What we mean is this: if we're heading towards some progress, the system has the ability, by being persistent with foolishness and fitna, to take us back several generations. So if you're aware, what we feel is this police brutality, this constant murder, is to inflame black people, right? And take their mind back to the 60s. You gotta remember, all of those so-called fights we had already won a long time ago. What we believe that the system is trying to do is take our mind off the future and put it on the present and backwards. In other words, give us an agenda to fight for, right? So what better agenda if you're trying to mislead people is to get them to fight for something they've already won. And the various police departments are aware of it. If the police departments was not aware of what they was doing, they would have subsided this killing of black people a long time ago. Somebody would have said, okay, we got to give the people a break, we got to stop shooting people. Since they haven't stopped shooting, they've increased it, right? And they've increased their nastiness, and to have their knee on a brother's neck for almost 9 minutes and everybody watching, that's to rub it in so that we would become so-called violent like during the 60s, and then that would take us off of, right, the future agenda. And the agenda today, it's a smooth trick if they could pull it off. And everybody's in that mode but us. We're not in that mode. We believe put 25% on that police brutality and the other 75% on the future. Everything from climate to health to all of those things, right? How the world is running and how to plan for the future. Not to be brought back to the past. And that's why it's being done over and over and over again. So pretty soon people just say, hey man, we gotta take care of this, we gotta do that. The minute you do that, you lose all the credibility that you've gained up to now. Remember, we at a plus now. And we've very seldom been that way. Even in the 60s, there was some people supporting us, but as soon as they talked about the moral majority and mean? We lost that. Nixon come in and one quick agenda. He started talking about law and order. And within a few years, all of that was gone. Everything that we went for during the 60s, by the early 70s, was wiped out. The point is they're trying to repeat that again. The reason they want to repeat that again is because they want to keep our mind and our vision off the type of world we want to live in, and they want us to fight for that old agenda that we've already won. And believe it or not, those old Negro attorneys that you see on TV, they're going to play that game. If we're not careful, they will play that game. Remember, 90% of those people are elected and selected to do that. Just like the lawyers we had in the 60s. We didn't know it then, but they were selected for us. And they'll give some of them this type of case that they could win, and that'll be our temporary victory. You see what I mean? That'll be our temporary victory. But this is a very calculated and systematic agenda that they're trying to pull. Take our mind off of cleaning up this planet, the role of Khalifa, right? That's what the Khalifa is going to do. He's supposed to fix all this. Off the agenda of working in harmony with the masses. You got to remember, you got to look at the system. The system has lost and is totally losing credibility every day. They tell some of the Muslim countries, well, you're doing wrong here, there, and they are slaughtering people either in person or by proxy, like in Yemen. The richest Arab country in the world, Saudi Arabia, is slaughtering the poorest Arab country in the world, which is Yemen. And nobody's saying anything about it because look, you have to look at it like, who's the friend of a friend? The Israelis can do anything they want in the world because America is their friend. When history views what they've been doing to people, they're going to say, man, they can flash bomb them, helicopter them, destroy their whole community, and won't let them rebuild it. Say, well, we can't let you have no cement because you build bunkers. Well, everything is made over there with cement and bricks, right? There's no forest around there for you to go out and cut wood like California, right? Like we have all that plywood and stuff over here. They don't use that stuff. They use brick and what have you. So if you can't use bricks and cement and all of that, right? You can't rebuild. That's why those Masjid that was destroyed a decade ago by that Israeli invasion is still leaning to one side today. The point we're making is that we have to be conscious of the battle space. That is, they used to call it the battlefield or the battlefield environment. The battle space now is harnessing the people's mind and heart for the future that they want to live in, not fight battles of the past. See, after a while, they'll let that go. They'll let it go because it ain't getting no sanction, it ain't getting no traction. If we turn our attention, and I can see how it's going to be difficult for people to hold on because they're killing us like dogs all day long, every day. Men, women, and children, they just slaughtering, you know. So it's hard to put up with that. But when you're in a big battle, you got to have a hadith called As-Sabiqun wa nifsul liman. Patience is half of faith. Now they always tell us about the part of getting married is half your faith. But patience, sabr, or as-sabru jamilan, a beautiful or a handsome or a lovely patience. Now, that's where we come in. We come in because we're not bragging or none of that, but we've been talking about all these things for decades. And now, if any of you read a recent article about some of our people in Iran and what they're saying about them or being accused of, right? We've been aware of this for 30. Our first lecture on it was in 1990, dealing with people who work in a sewer. See, when you work in a sewer, you stop smelling yourself. But when you come home, everybody smells you. Right? Because you've been working in a sewer. But you don't smell yourself. Everybody else in the house, right? They can smell you. Same thing, we said that to talk about politics. We put that on the political agenda in 1990 because we saw how people were beginning to act and react to the environmental circumstances. Today, you can look in papers that come from different parts of the world, people that have been handed so much credibility in the West, you would think they was running for president of the United States. I don't have to name all these guys, but just go back and look at, or ask somebody that's around here about who we're talking about. These people are traitors to Islam and traitors to the Islamic Republic. They have sold out themselves. And that battle goes on deep here. I mean, this is, in fact, here in D.C. is as deep as you could get it, anywhere in the United States. There are people that these criminal elements that have embassies and what have you here have bought institutions for Negroes because they didn't want the Shia population, African-American Shia population, to keep coming here, because if they did, they was going to get saturated with Vilayati Faqih. So they bought them a place. Oh, it's a nice place out there. We'll just say out there. And all of a sudden, these are bought by Iranians. This is my feeling. Maybe they didn't, but I believe they did. For Negroes. So the Negro wouldn't be continued to be saturated, let's call it with Walayati Faqih and that type. See, this battle is going on all over the world. It's just like here, whether you believe it or not, it ain't nobody nowhere in the arena as we are. You said that nigga's crazy. That's the truth. That's 100% truth. Ain't nobody in the United States or very few outside. We have identified the enemies of Islam because of our association with all of this. Okay? So you might think, well, they're just sitting there talking and the white man is blocking this and blocking that. They are. But they ain't blocking the movement. They blocking a house or somewhere to live, but they're not blocking the movement. This is what I want everybody to understand. We have not missed a call. And there's nobody in the United States like that. I'm just saying it because there's no one in the United States that have been pinpoint accurate on everything that's going on in this country, and, am I lying? Overseas too. But we have to be, you can't just go and start blabbing everything out. Sometimes you have to wait 5 years, 10 years. You may have to wait 15, was 1990, man, you have to wait 30 years. You can see it then, 30 years ago. And there's a crew here. Everybody that thinks it's a big struggle between Salafis and Iran, well, it is, except there's a crew here the so-called Iranians that's working with Salafis. There's a group of Salafis supposed to hate Shias. They work in tandem with each other. Why? Because they're on the same team. They're on the same team. They're on the team of oppressors. Remember, that's the oppressed, me and you and all the people mostly around the world. And then there's the oppressors, those people that know exactly what they're doing and they know what part they're playing. So I just wanted to mention a few things because we want to make sure that with Allah's help, we stay focused on what we're doing and not get diverted by all of our sympathy goes out for our people that are being killed by the police department. It's not new, they've been killing them. They've been killing them. But we don't want to take, if you want to do 3-card Molly or anything on people, what do? Get them to look somewhere else. Or poop, just like that. And when they said, where's that P? You said, there it is, but he deflected you even for the blink of an eye, isn't that right? If they can deflect us or divert our attention, they have diverted, they have collaborated, and they have collected the attention of the people of the United States of America and of the Muslims. We're not with them. We're not with them. You don't see us on none of their agendas because they don't want to hear what we have to say. And that's good. All their famous people on their agendas, well, you can figure out what they're doing. It's not helping the Muslims. Okay. And also be careful of the media. The media right now, they're into this taking your mind back. What was that, the one on, not the Black Messiah, but what was it?
Yeah, the Judas.
Judas, yeah. Okay. That's a good movie. And they're telling a lot of truth in there. And the goals that the brother was working on, Chairman Fred, the Rainbow Coalition, you probably heard of the Rainbow Coalition from Jesse Jackson. But Jesse Jackson was one of the main coons. You know, snatched Martin Luther King's shirt, blood all over it. You know, there's a whole list of message Jesse right now. And you see them all on the media, and that's all you see. But don't none of them tell you this side of the story. They're telling you that side of the story. They're telling you boss man's side of the story. So whether it's the Black Messiah, whether it's the Judas, and all of those things, just trying to focus your mind on those. Man, they got a ton of movies out all about the past, and they're true. Lady Day, what was it? Strange Fruit, how the FBI was on her case all of that time. It's true. Fred Hampton, shot and set up by the brother, what was his name?
Bill O'Neill.
Reno.
Bill O'Neill.
O'Neill, yeah. Those are true. Why are they bringing them all out right now? They're trying to give you a misimpression of what was going on at that time. They're not shading it. They're telling a lot of truth, but they're shading it a little bit. And if we can, they feel if they can get our mind back there, right? So why they didn't tell the truth when they killed him? Why wait 1969? Good God Almighty. Why wait 50 years? Why wait 50 years to tell the truth, right? Why not tell it then? It's because if they can get our mind, remember, focused on solving the problems from back then, they would take our mind off all the things we got to do now. See, remember this artificial intelligence and all of this new stuff? We got to get on this boy. We got to stop this boy's roll. Yeah, because he ain't slowing down, and he's not taking any precautions. For him, the world is a big gold rush. And we can see what happened with people when they came over here, what they did with the Indians, right? Well, now you got another barrier, outer space. What do you think the cracker gonna do if he finds somebody running around out there? He gonna do the same thing he's always done. Slaughter them, enslave them, and kill them, and take whatever's up there on the moon or out there in the woods somewhere. He don't know nothing else to do, right? We have to check this boy. Say, hold it, before you go anywhere, before you leave here, we want you to fix this boy up. This boy is not running properly. The earth, right? Think about it. We want you to participate in straightening this boy out before you go anywhere. And he's going to do it when we encourage him to do it, or when we not make him do it, but or something like that. Because the man is a born criminal. He is satanic in his whole character, his whole history, his whole nation. And if the good don't check the bad, it would be much fitna, right, in the land. So that's basically our job. Not to let them, remember, it's 55, it's 25, 75. 25% fixing up that stuff that is going on. And the other 75% is reorganize the earth we live on for the future. That means cleaning up the oceans, cleaning up the air, and trying to even include a little tazkiyah bil nafs, purification of the human being. Because if you want to clean up the world, right, don't go around trying to grab some Negro and clean him up, right? You go to humanity and clean up humanity, right? Humanity messed everything up down here, or around here, right? So that's the one you got.